You guys love talking about Sweet Baby Inc. I love talking about Sweet Baby Inc. I love talking about all these consultancy firms because they're hilarious. Sweet Baby Inc. is a company that just keeps taking so many L's this year that it is resulting in now studios apparently trying to fire people before the video games are even released, which again, wow, number one, that's hilarious. And number two, it just goes to show. So you have another Sweet Baby Inc. failure. Hyperlight Breaker developer lays off staff ahead of game's early access release. Now, let's talk about Hyperlight, okay? I have no experience with Hyperlight, number one, but I believe people enjoyed Hyperlight. I believe, okay? Don't quote me on that, but I believe people enjoyed it for, especially for like a smaller indie game, people enjoyed Hyperlight. So let's go into the numbers so we can showcase it. So at its best, it had about 5,000 players at peak, okay? Hyperlight Drifter. 5,000 players at peak with an estimated sales anywhere between 740,000 to 2.67 million. Okay. 110,000 followers on Steam, which is pretty good. I mean, that's more than Dragon Age the Veilguard. So think about that for a second. Okay. But the game has been out for almost 9 years and there's people still playing. So that is a good sign, even though the numbers are low. Now let's look at the actual max. You're going to see what happens. Again, it just shot down pretty quickly, maintained itself a little bit over a year or so, and then it kind of just died off, and it crawled its way to sales. It had a little bump here. I don't know what for, but maybe a patch or something. But it crawled its way to sales, which is whatever. And honestly, depending on what its budget is, I'm fairly certain they made money, right? Now, we've already proven that these numbers are absolute bullshit. These numbers on the bottom right, we've proven with many different games that these numbers are absolutely fucking bullshit. But you got to imagine that the 700,000 number is probably correct, right? Over the course of 9 years, I can see that. I can see a game being sold. What's the price history on this? Let's see. The lowest ever recorded price was $7.99. $7.99. So yeah, I could see this game selling a metric fuck ton of copies, but not really making a ton of money because most people probably bought it at a discount. Most people, right? I highly doubt most people paid the full price, except for the day one buyers, obviously. So yeah, these are all sale purchases, I'm sure. Oh, look. Oh, it tells you. Okay, Humble Bundle. July 2017. Humble Bundle. 2018. Humble Bundle. Fight for Racial Justice Bundle. What the fuck? This game was in a Fight for Racial Justice Bundle? Why is that even a bundle? When did that happen? In 2020? Oh, that was during BLM. That was during the Summer of Love. Got it. That makes sense. 2020. Wow. Humble Bundle had in 2020 a Fight for Racial Justice Bundle. What absolute fucking virtue signals. Wow. Well, that's amazing. And then here's another one. Humble Bundle, Humble Heal, COVID-19 Bundle. Bro, what the Yo, Humble Bundles. Oh my God, bro. Now it makes a lot of sense because Humble Bundle's tied to SBI anyway, so this is just virtue signaling to the max. Anyway, so the game is fairly well received for an indie title, right? So okay, no problem, fine. Now, let's look at Hyperlight Breaker, right? This is a new game that's coming out, okay? So it's got 35,000 followers on Steam. So it's got about 1/3 to maybe 1/4 the amount of followers on Steam compared to the original. Still not bad for an indie game, though. This is a lot higher than Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws is at like 7,000 followers on Steam. This is at 35,000 followers. Number 52 on wishlist. That's not terrible for an indie game. Okay, not terrible. Whether that translates to sales, that's something totally different. Now, I know a lot of people don't even realize or know that this game is partnered with SBI. But this game is on SBI Detected. And this game was on SBI's website before they deleted everything and hid all the companies that they work with. So they're trying to hide their affiliation with this game, even though people already know. They're trying to hide it. They deleted everything. So now you guys know, for people in the chat, in case you're interested in Hyperlight, now you know this is an SBI game, and they have decided to work on this particular title, which apparently they did story, narrative development, and all that stuff. So let's get into what they actually did. Heart Machine, the developer behind the upcoming Hyperlight Breaker, which was worked on by Sweet Baby Inc., announced it is already laying off staff before the game releases to early access on Steam. A report from James Batchelor at Games Industry revealed the company dismissed a portion of its workforce, although it's unclear which department this has affected. The company's community manager, Yi Zhang, claimed that the layoffs will not affect Hyper Light Breaker's release. So you guys know what happened, right? So basically what happened is they fired all the people that worked on the game, right? The people who are not necessary to keeping the game running. They fired those people. Now that the game is done, fired them, and they said, you know what? We're gonna run this game through early access, and we're gonna just maintain it with this team, and we're not gonna pay you for it, even though you worked on it and you made it into completion. We're not gonna pay you for it. We're gonna fire you, and then we're gonna gaslight you afterwards. Look at the gaslight. You ready for this? Zhang even appeared to imply that laid-off employees might be able to rejoin the company depending on the game's success. In fact, a strong and timely launch will rekindle opportunities for those affected as we look to evolve and grow the game throughout early access. So they just flat out fire the people. They're like, all right, if we make money, maybe we'll hire you back. Maybe we'll hire you back. No, that's not going to happen. If they make money, guess what's going to happen? It's going right into the pockets of the higher ups. It's going right into the pockets of the higher ups, the managers and everything like that. And keep in mind, guys, this is not even a finished game. This is an early access game. They're firing people before the game even goes into early access, let alone actual release. So, to be honest with you, as a consumer, that's pretty worrisome. So you're telling me that you're releasing an unfinished game, and then on top of that, you're lowering the workforce that's going to be able to work on the game, which means that the patches and the fixes that are inevitable are going to come slower and probably at lower quality because you don't have as many people. So you just firing people. You're not even waiting for the game to come out. I mean, give it 30 days. Give it 30 days at least. Get some sales figures and then figure out if you got to fire people. But honestly, this is not what it's about, man. They're trying to maximize profits. That's what it is. They're trying to maximize profits. And the way they're doing that is by firing these people ahead of time that are no longer necessary. That's what it is. They're no longer necessary and they're done, which is amazing because this hardcore woke ass community manager, Yi Zhang, apparently is necessary because she got to keep her job. So let's continue. Hyperlight Breaker was one of the games that Embracer Group retained after it sold off Gearbox to Take-Two Interactive Software Inc. back at the end of March. The game had also been added to Sweet Baby Inc. Detective Steam Curator Group, given that Sweet Baby Inc. revealed they had worked on the game in regards to world building, story structure, and character development. So this is what they did on the game. On top of other shit, I'm sure they don't want to mention. They did world building, story structure, and character development. We've seen the extent of all of this. We've seen the extent of what it means when SBI does world building, story structure, and character development. This is what their website used to look like. Look, right here. You can see the game right here, Hyperlight Breaker. It says it. We worked on early world building, story structure, and character development. This is how the website looked beforehand. So they're trying to take away this information. They're trying to hide this information. Honestly, people should screenshot these games so that they can remember them. But these are all on SBI Detected anyway. So if you're on Steam, make sure you're following SBI Detected. Hyperlight Breaker is expected to go into early access on Steam sometime in 2025. They haven't even announced a release date for early access. Alex Preston, the founder and creative director at Heart Machine, shared in a post to Steam in August, after much evaluation and many conversations with our publisher, Arc Games, we decided that we need a little bit more time to get the gameplay experience polished to our standards. Therefore, we're now looking at an early access launch date of very early next year. So they're looking for more time to get their stuff polished. Meanwhile, they're firing developers before the game even comes out. So how exactly are you going to polish your game? Less people, less workforce. How are you going to polish your game? Make that make sense. There's actually a documentary for this game that I came across accidentally. And I'm not even going to bother going into the documentary because after that last documentary from South of Midnight, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. How is this game getting a documentary is beyond me? But anyway, that's besides the point. There is a documentary and it showcased some of the developers. And one of the developers is the picture that I showcased in my thumbnail, which if you guys saw the picture, it looks pretty crazy. It's an interesting creature. I might go to the documentary for another, exactly, Kurakami. Good point. Another documentary for a game SBI worked in. Why are all these SBI games getting documentaries? What is so important about these SBI games that they're getting documentaries? It's because they're trying to sell the narrative. They're trying to sell the image. They're trying to sell what it means to be Sweet Baby Inc. That's what they're trying to sell, how important it is.